What's up? I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast,
where we interview successful businessmen and women to let you in on why success doesn't have a single formula to follow.
We also have a little bourbon tasting along the way, because why not?
Why not?
So guys, please enjoy this episode and let us know your thoughts at Bourbon and Business Podcast on Instagram.
Coming to you from the Bourbon and Business Studio here at the AC Hotel in Ridgeland, Mississippi. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast. How you doing this afternoon, Dakota?
I'm great, Tyler. It's so good to see your face.
I know. Glad to be back after Adam stepping in for 2 weeks.
You look slimmer. You've been working out?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
You know,
did you get a tan?
I did. I've
Go
been
to
on
the beach?
Yeah, I've been on vacation. That's where I was.
Cruise?
2 weeks. So.
Caribbean cruise?
Yeah.
Gotcha. We were talking you were in recovery or something.
But yeah. Recovery. I evidently I missed that part. So yeah, I'm glad
you don't watch our episodes.
I'm glad you
That's cool.
specified it. So,
surgical recovery, everyone.
Thank you to Adam for stepping in, a lot more organized than me. No, he did a phenomenal job.
Not quite as pretty, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, you know, you have to give or take there.
I made up for it, so it's all right.
Well, good. Will you introduce our guest to us?
I do. Today we have special guest, Chris Berry, founder and CEO of Apex Retirement Solutions. Chris, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. And then what are we sipping on, Dakota?
We are sipping on a little bourbon that Chris brought us, very kind of him, called Rocktown. It's from Arkansas. It's a single barrel, and it's just an Arkansas bourbon.
Yeah. Well,
82% corn in this one.
I was going to say, you know, I was a little worried about it because anytime we have a craft, you know, brewery coming here, you don't know what you're going to get. But this is top, some of the top that we've had. I mean, one of the best tasting bourbons we've had on the podcast today. I'm going to have to come in at a 9.2.
9.2. Fantastic.
So,
fantastic.
Very good. And Chris, tell our listeners a little bit about this bottle. I know you said there's a distillery there in Little Rock.
Yeah, it's called Rocktown Distillery. Phil Brandon is the guy who started it back in 2010. It's a great distillery. If you have a couple hours to spend in Little Rock, I recommend going and take the tour if you like bourbon at all. They do some other spirits. They do some vodkas and some gins and things like that. They have their bottle and bonds. They have their double oaks. But the single barrel, I actually tried at a restaurant when I was up there on a business trip. And I said, I've got to go by the distillery and pick me up a bottle. And I did. And it's different. So I like to share it with people who may not be able to get it here.
Yeah. Well, if you're in Little Rock, go pick a bottle of it up.
Yep. And we want to thank our sponsor, Cheers Vineyard in Gluckstadt, Mississippi. They bring this segment every time of the bourbon tasting. So thank you so much to Cheers Vineyard. If you need a bottle of anything, go ahead and go stop by. They'll hook you up.
Yeah. Only thing they won't have is Rocktown because evidently it's only sold in.
Well, this was distillery only. I don't think that Rocktown is distributed in Mississippi.
Yeah. Maybe we can get Cheers to pull some strings, get some Rocktown here.
If they do, they got my business.
Well, Chris, we appreciate you coming on. We like to always start this if you would just tell our listeners your background, where you're from, and then how you got to the point of becoming the CEO of Apex Retirement Solutions.
Sure. So I've been in the financial field of some sort since I was 13 years old. My dad was an accountant. I started doing data entry for him when I was 13. Graduated to doing corporate and partnership income taxes. And in my mid-20s, I decided I wanted to get out of that segment of accounting and deal more on a consultative basis. And I joined a little firm called Stevens Dowd & Company. I spent 7 years there. That was in the TPA field, not strictly accounting. And then I went over to Trustmark. I spent 11 years in their wealth management department. They shut my department down, kind of outsourced that. And I went back to what I thought was Stevens Dowd & Company, who had since been purchased by Benefit Professionals. Literally the same physical office, just different management. And then this past early February, the owner of Benefit Professionals sold the firm to a company out of South Florida. And me and the new company just couldn't come to terms on some employment contract negotiations. And I decided, my kids are grown. What better time to strike out on my own? God was good. And I was able to grab a couple of large clients right off the bat. And I'm out there hustling. It's
nice.
Entrepreneurship is a full-time job.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, is it?
It is not. It is not. somebody asked me, they said, so how do you feel about this new venture? I said, I have all of the emotions. I'm scared, I'm terrified, I'm happy, I'm joyful, everything all at one time. But it's been a very fulfilling couple of months for me.
Good.
I've got 2 employees. I've got a decent book of business now, and we're looking forward to the future.
Awesome. Well, good to hear. Well, tell our listeners a little bit. So what exactly do y'all do?
So I'm a third-party administrator. I work with business owners and investment advisors to design a retirement plan to help solve what that business owner is trying to accomplish, whether it's, benefiting him and his family, whether it's benefiting his employees, whether it's, just a certain segment of of his demographics that he wants to benefit. We design the plan within the constraints of ERISA to help him solve his problem. I always say that a retirement plan is a tool, and if you need a hammer, you don't want somebody to hand you a screwdriver. So through
100%.
consulting with the
I
with
tell
the
Tyler
client,
that every day. He still hands me a screwdriver. I don't understand.
yeah, talking with the business owners, we figure out exactly what the plan needs to look like. We draft it. We work with the investment advisors to decide which platform, which record keeper would be best for the investment side. And then we put the plan in place and try to keep the DOL and the IRS out of everybody's hair.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good to keep them out of your hair.
Yep.
Well, what are some of the biggest issues you see working with small businesses that want to implement a retirement plan for their employees? I mean, I know that, margins are thin for business owners. I mean, what issues do you see that they're like, hey, we're hesitant to do this, or, even we don't know how to.
So I think that the biggest issue is their lack of knowledge. They don't understand that if they don't have a retirement plan, they're losing out on competitive advantage because their competitors are going to have one. A lot of people think it's just astronomically expensive to implement a retirement plan, and it's not. Congress passed new laws over the past 5 years, Secure 1.0, Secure 2.0, that really help the
And then
business owner.
Secure like 2.5, right, or whatever, and then they rolled that back, and they're like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, well, they're working on Secure 3.0 now.
3.0,
Yeah. So, but in Secure 2.0, there were some really expanded business tax credits that really help offset the cost of implementing a retirement plan for somebody who doesn't have one. One of the things that people don't realize often is that any money that the employer is putting into the retirement plan, nobody ever pays FICA tax on it, ever. The employer doesn't pay his portion. The employees don't have to pay their portion. The employees draw it out, they pay income tax, but there's no FICA on that. So there's 15% that the business owner and the employee together can save just by having that money going into the retirement plan from the employer side. Now, you don't get that with the traditional deferrals or Roth, obviously, but you do still get to defer the taxation on what you put into the plan until you draw it out, unless it's a Roth. A Roth is even better for certain people. There's no taxation on that at all if it's a qualified distribution. So I would say that learning what tools are out there to help the business owner put it together with the least cost available, or least total cost available. And to do that, they need to have a good investment advisor, they need to have a good TPA, and they need to be able to listen to what those specialists are saying, because I'm not going to tell you how to build a widget. Your investment advisor is not going to tell you how to build a widget. And you should listen to what the professionals say when it comes to retirement plan. Bring your CPA into the conversation.
Yeah, having a CPA in a conversation, I feel like is a huge benefit sometimes, right? Especially if it's the right one. Let's talk more about becoming a founder. You said you had all the emotions. Walk us through that when you were, I'm picturing you just at the dining room table at night. You're like, oh my gosh, am I actually going to do this or not? And what was that like? What were did you make a pro and con list? I mean, how do you navigate that situation? And then on a day-to-day basis, how do you navigate that?
Well, so I've been thinking about this for several years, but
so this was stirring from a while ago.
At heart, I'm a pretty loyal person, and my former boss was very good to me. So I wasn't going to go out and try to take business from her. But this kind of just fell in my lap. Me and like I said, the new owners and myself, we couldn't come to an agreement, and there was no long-term decision-making process. I found out on a Tuesday that Sunday I was creating my business.
Wow.
I knew that I felt very strongly that I had enough good relationships with several clients that I would be okay on the front end.
Yeah.
If it was just me. Now it's not just me. I've got employees under me, and my goal is to make sure that I am taking care of the people who have shown some faith in me, not just the clients, but also the employees that I have. So that's my goal, is to make sure that they're all taken care of first, and then I'll deal with myself.
Well, it's almost kind of better. The way I work anyway is I don't have enough time to sit there and, beat a decision. I have to just make it. Like,
Well, there was certainly no paralysis there.
Yeah,
it was all right. So I either do A or I need to do B. Now there were some other options. I had several people approach me throughout the week that I was there with them.
Yeah.
But I felt very strongly that I can make this be a successful venture, and so far it's looking that way.
It's awesome.
Well, tell our listeners a little bit, how has your job shifted from going from you were working for someone else and now you're running your own business? What was the shift in that, and what does that look like?
So for me, it wasn't a huge shift, believe it or not. Like I said, I had pretty autonomous. I was pretty. My former boss gave me a lot of autonomy here in Mississippi. She left me alone. So I had been handling payroll. I had been doing, handling the accounts payable. There were a lot of things that were just on the business side and not the consultative side that I had at least been doing at some point in the past 10 years.
Sure.
It's just now I'm doing it all the time. It's not like, okay, I need you to do accounts receivables for, 2021 and 22, and then payables 22, 23 and 24. Doing all that. Luckily, I have a wonderful partner. My wife, Becky, she's pitching in and she's helping with the bookkeeping side of everything.
Awesome.
I have 2 employees, 2 ladies that came with me from Benefit Professionals. And I found that they've both worked with me or for me for a long time. And I know what their skill sets are, and I'm putting them in the right place. And I found that as long as you can put the right skills in the right slots, then you're going to be successful.
Sure.
And I think that I've got really 2 really good skill sets. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm good at a lot of stuff.
Right.
I don't say I'm great at anything.
Right.
Tyler's great at everything.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, the kind of the story of the entrepreneur is that, a lot of times it's just not even that you're good at everything, but you have the capacity to figure out how to do a lot of things. If you are running a business, there, like you said, payroll, there are things, tons of different things that are going on behind the scenes that actually make that business run.
Right.
On top of what the business actually does.
Yeah. I will say that there have been some unexpected surprises regarding the expense side of things.
Yeah.
Just things, I didn't have time to do all of the budget out on paper. So there are certain little surprises that pop up, but so far we've been able to handle them all, and it's going well.
Yeah.
You mentioned having the ability now, or the knowledge now, to be able to put the skills in the right place.
Yes.
What has that process been like for you to grow as a leader and see that? Because we talk about that a lot on here, and we've heard it before from different founders and CEOs and successful businessmen and women that, they had to learn. Not everybody has the same skill set. Not everybody's going to want to be as achieving as I am. Not everybody's going to have the same desire for this baby as I do, because it's my baby. It's not their baby. So from the business standpoint, not an actual child, of course, but what has that been like to find that skill set, put that person where their skill set is best utilized, and then watch them kind of grow from there?
Over the past 35 years, it's been very painful.
What do you mean by that?
I did not learn it very easily.
Gotcha.
I tried to force square pegs into round holes. I've lost good employees because I didn't listen to them. I did not engage them in that conversation of finding out where they needed to be.
Yeah.
I think that is the most important thing. I fear it's something we're losing in today's society, is the ability to communicate.
How so?
Everybody wants a four-word text. I'm old school. I like to have the face-to-face conversations. it's taken me a long while to realize that not everybody communicates like I do. Nobody communicates through text, but you got to find some way to communicate so that you know what to expect from your employees and your employees know what to expect from you.
Well, now people use their AI chatbots to communicate with other people for them. I mean, you know, you're reaching out to potential employers and you've got a chatbot responding for you.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you finally get in there on day one and you got the job because your chatbot got it for you? And then they go, well, you said you were competent in this area.
Yeah,
and you're not doing a very good job.
It's very hard to use a chatbot face to face.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
Hold, please.
and, that's kind of, you know, now that you touch on that, is one of my biggest pet peeves, and it probably irritates people. But if you text me something, more than likely you're getting a call back.
100%.
It's
Me
not,
too.
like, I don't want to go back and forth
It's so annoying.
with you for 30 minutes on a text message that we could accomplish in 2 to 5 minutes. And I think that, you know, like you said, we are now seeing, though, we have to be aware that, you know, you may have an employee that would rather communicate with you through a Teams chat or, or through an email.
That's not necessarily bad.
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to deal with that person and put him in the place where he's going to be most effective.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's a great word, to be aware of those things, because I think sometimes, you know, if we're used to doing it a certain way, we're just like, no, you're gonna talk to me all about it. So.
Yeah. And Tyler will be going somewhere and he's like, hey, when you going inside? And I'm like, what? I was just going to walk in.
I don't remember that conversation.
It happened, I promise.
Anyway, but
I think it's a good time for a bourbon break.
it is.
Rocktown, I thought it was really good. It is hot, but it's not hot on the front. It's hot on the back, which I thought was great. It hits you nice on the front. And I think you mentioned like a bit of cherry candy almost, and I can definitely taste that. It's almost got that little bit of sweet.
Give me like a butter taste is what I picked up.
I feel like you pick up butter in everything.
I picked
Did you
up
have a lot of butter as a kid?
I do like butter.
Well,
but-
it's good.
Yeah.
I do like the finish on it. I tend to like my whiskeys a little higher proof.
Yeah.
I picked up a broad branch, 100% rye at just recently. 1 barrel in Mississippi. I got one of the 53 bottles. It's 144 proof.
I'll put some.
It drinks hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Use that
But this
thing,
one was, like I said, it was very smooth at the beginning. I think it gets better with every sip. So I'm gonna. It's really not that hot for a 123.
No, I'd say I would say 110.
It drinks. I was gonna say it drinks like 100 to 110. Like it's definitely not that. It doesn't drink that hot. But you were at a 9.2, and I'm right there. I'm gonna land at a 9.3.
9.3.
So yeah, that's pretty.
I'm glad y'all could enjoy it.
Pretty darn good for sure. Well, Chris, we have a lot of business owners that listen to this podcast, a lot of founders. What's one piece of advice that you would give them as far as what you wish you would have known before you made the jump? Or do you wish you would have pulled the trigger 20 years ago?
I wish I would have pulled the trigger 20 years ago. I realize not every business is successful, but it has been so fulfilling working for myself versus working for somebody else, just in the short time frame I've done.
Yeah.
If you're confident in yourself and you have a good business model, I feel like you can be successful as an entrepreneur. Not everybody is going to have the discipline to put in 16-hour days.
Sure.
But eventually, God willing, it won't be 16-hour days every week. So that would be my point is, if you feel like you have the ability to do it and you think it would be fulfilling for you, try to find some way to make it happen.
Love that.
For sure. And I think you touched on a good thing there is, you know, if you're willing to work for it and you have a good service, like you're talking about, you can be successful at it, but don't forget the work piece.
Yeah.
You know, those 16-hour days, you got to make sure you're prepared for those, that you know, you're ready to put a lot of those in, especially on the front end. And even down the road, you know, when things, like you said, unexpected things come up in business all the time, and you're back in that office for 16 hours.
You got to pivot.
Yeah. You know, Congress is making changes every day.
Right.
So you got to look at not only what you can control, but things that are outside of your control and how that's going to impact the ability for you to deal with it.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, it's all about what you want to do with your time. You can spend your 16 hours watching Netflix, or you can spend it building a business, and it really comes down to what you want to do.
Yep.
building a business would be a lot more gratifying than watching Netflix.
For sure.
For sure.
Well, tell our listeners where, if they want to say they're a business owner and they want to get in touch with you, they say, hey, we don't have a retirement plan, or, we're not confident about what plan we have for our employees. How can they get in touch?
So they can email me directly, cberry@myapexretirement.com. Our business line is 601-589-2739. I'm extension 100. You can also call my cell phone. It's on my business card. I only have one cell phone. I don't have a business and a personal. It's 601-927-2179. We are building a website, but this is a new venture for me. I mean, I'm less than 3 months old. So I'll get y'all on my website when it's up and running.
Fantastic.
Well, nice. Well, to all our listeners, again, we want to thank Cheers Vineyard in Gluckstadt for being a sponsor, and the AC Hotel. And however you stream this podcast, if you would give us a rating and follow us on social media, and we will see you next week.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
If you have any feedback or would like to be featured, reach out to us at bourbonandbusinesspodcast@gmail.com.
Or find us on Instagram at Bourbon and Business Podcast.
Thanks again for listening.
Follow us for more content and info on the next episode.